Hello, guys. Welcome back to 1878 Blues. Ignore the hair, as I would love to ignore what happened today. Um, Manchester United 2, Everton nil. Yeah, I would have loved to do a reaction straight after the full time whistle, but I didn't have the opportunity to do so. Um, Maybe I'm glad because I was very, very irate. Um, the emotions were flowing through my body uh, in ways I didn't think I could reach. Hence why the other videos have spoken about where my mental health is going with supporting Everton. It's not a joke as well. It's really affecting my day-to-day weekly life. And I can't even describe how aggressive and, again, very emotional I was after that first half performance. I've never witnessed a first half performance like that or 45 minutes of football in my life like that, where I see one side in Manchester. I just need to choke then. One side, Manchester United, who I thought was absolutely appalling. And I kind of see where some of the fans are coming from United now. They was terrible, absolutely terrible. Yet, like the past two games, and in the past week or so, we've been given points back from the Premier League, even though I believe we should have all 10 back. And we just gave away in them two prior games to this uh, 3 points. We've just gave, wouldn't say really gave them away, but you gave up any hope of getting anything after about 10 minutes. And then obviously the other penalty a number of minutes later, maybe 10 or 15 minutes later. Now, I won't be sitting here saying that we was unbelievable and we just couldn't take our chances, which I'm actually sick of hearing that, because it's getting beyond embarrassing. It really is, to me. I think there's a level of, if your confidence is low, it affects this, and that. I just haven't witnessed anything like this in my life. That a team just, I never have a single belief that they're going to score. But the first 10 minutes, they were dreadful. Manchester United, we was pressurising them. We was trying to get a couple of shots, a couple of crosses in the box, just looking dangerous, whatever that is. I think dangerous to our own downfall, to be honest, which obviously resulted to that. Yet, Manchester United, and to be fair, with Garnacho only looked like the only player awake in that team in the first half, and he, did his little runs. He likes to be direct, and I cannot fathom what Tarkowski was doing in that moment. I really can't. He said something after the interview the other week or something. He said something mentioned about Dice that he set up well. There's nothing wrong with the way Dice game plan is. We just are not taking our chances. So why in the fuck, with a stat in 14 games, we haven't come behind and won a game of football? We drew 2 and lost 12, something like that. Why would you, after the first opening 10 minutes, you could see Manchester United look like they haven't had a sip of their latte this morning? Why in the fuck would you stick a leg out of a player running away from goal? Or, to me, wasn't much of a threat that moment. It wasn't like on the break. Why in the fuck would you do that? You're a professional. He doesn't make many margin for error kind of mistakes. And he does that, which absolutely blows me mind, because this game plan and how we set up and how we try and stay in games as long as possible, and he believes what Dice has said is right, and it's us not taking the chances. He goes and fucks the game for us in the first 10 minutes. Because any other team you go, well, there's a long way to go. With Everton, there's not. That's game over for me. If it's a draw, it's a draw. And you would take a point at Old Trafford, and you still could, potentially should be happy with that. But we are in a dire, desperate situation. To me, every game feels like we need to win, despite who we're playing and where we are. And United are very good at home, and they've nearly lost a record number of games in the league or in the Premier League era. I can't remember. In one season, I think it's the Premier League era. Yet we still can't we seem to just bottle it against Manchester United all the time, and it's a joke. Despite their good teams in the past, in the past 10 years, they haven't been as great. Yet they still have the upper hand over us, and to give away a game like that in the first 10 minutes is criminal. And I just lost my shit. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking lost my mind, because there was no need for it. And I do apologise for me over use of swearing, but this is just pure raw emotions coming back into me, to be honest, because I'm quite tired. I'm recording this at like 12:30 at night. And it's the last thing I really want to talk about, to be honest. And that was it, game over. Bruno Fernandes dispatches the penalty. We have a few more chances there and there. United still look a bit half away. Casemiro not barely passing the ball to any of his teammates. Actually thought we had a new signing. And yeah, another little run from Garnacho. Crossing through the middle. A few players couldn't get near him. I think kind of pathetic attempts to get near him. And then Godfrey just decides, you know what? I can't be arsed, like I get ripped all the time. I don't want someone going past me again. So I'll just stick my leg out, even though we just conceded a penalty 15 minutes ago. And you can imagine the mood and the communication across the team after that incident. Yet you do the repeat of what Tarkowski's done. It's unforgivable. I said Godfrey shouldn't be in the team anyway. I think Coleman should be. Just Godfrey hasn't done enough for me. And yeah, that's kind of solidified my opinion on him now. I just not good enough for this club. Never will be. He's had a long enough stint in this club. It's just not worked out for him. He's just not at this level. And to do that is, again, criminal. 2-0. Rashford scoring. And that's it. To be honest, game over. A couple more chances there and there. McNeil had a very good chance. Yeah, it was blocked. I also had a chance. He hit a ball past the post from about 20 yards. But my real annoyance with not just the chances we missed, or half chances, whatever they are, is the amount of times I've seen players like McNeil, Harrison, absolutely dreadful. Honestly, I'm actually counting now the days for him to go back to Leeds. I actually thought he was a bit ahead of the rest in some of the games in the earlier part of the season. He just looks like he hasn't got a clue what he's doing, and he's so predictable. It's actually ridiculous. I can predict what he's going to do before he does it. That's how bad it is. And that's the standard of a Premier League footballer these days. A lot of them are like that. And I just think it's disgusting. Like, you're at the top tier of football, and I just think the standard has dropped. Fitness levels, athletic kind of abilities have gone up, but the skill level on the football for a lot of top flight footballers, to me, these days is rather dreadful. I don't know if you just think that as well, but that's my opinion. And yeah, it was not just the chances we missed and whatnot. It was the way, when we did go on the attack, the amount of wrong decisions we was making on who to pass to, the pass itself. Running with the ball too long was driving me nuts. I could see Beto absolutely busting a gut to get to an area where, he's hoping for some sort of a layoff for him to potentially go in at goal. And these players have just got their heads down while running and just not looking up and not being in decisive and quick enough with the thinking. You know, when the way United are playing, all I could think of was move that ball fast. They are not awake. They are not closing down properly. They're getting out fought. And it just looks like they can't be arsed, like the season's done for them. And we just we just basically gave them the game again. And I just think it's an absolute disgrace. You know, like I said, in them moments, you've got to be passing fast, moving fast off the ball. You know, give them something to think about. And we just kept falling, running and running and running, letting their players come back into position, and then end up having a player with about 3 other players surrounding him with no one really barely in support. I just think it's absolutely wild, and he kept doing the same thing, and I don't know if that's Dice telling him to stay on the ball longer and let other players run into space or whatever, but I just seen so many moments where McNeil, Onana, Decore had so many opportunities to lay off the ball, and they didn't, and I was getting really infuriated. Like, it was just beyond crazy that this is a Premier League footballing team, and it's just mental. It's just so bad. I don't even know what to say more than that, to be honest. And yeah, I thought, you know what? Why do I bother? Why do I bother? Why do you have to cause my depression? And people go, you know, as a fan, you got to stick with them when they're, you know, you don't just stick with them for the good times. I agree with that, and I've done enough of it. I've done a lot of it, to be honest. I've done it all my life, basically. So either way, I had work anyway, but I could have watched the first 10 minutes of the second half and then drove. I just got in my car, drove to work very slow, probably under the speed limit, and the most relaxing drive I've ever had in my life, with no radio on, and then sat in the car park and worked just a few minutes before my shift, because I thought, I just want to pretend nothing is happening right now. I don't even want to think about the second half. I don't really care, because it's an actual disgrace. That first half, it's an actual disgrace. It's just, you just don't think it can get any worse. Every single game that comes by, and it gets worse, and the scenarios and those situations in games, and just the individual moments, you just go, how has that happened times 10? How has that moment happened? That moment I haven't seen before from Everton. How, you know, and we've just gone and done it. Like, I don't recall many moments where we're losing 2-0. And United had a few chances themselves, but it was due to our own downfall, I believe. And I just can't recall first half, really, in memory, that we didn't even play well, but they was that bad. Manchester United, any other side I could imagine would have punished them at some point in that first half, and we didn't at all, which is kind of obvious of how the season's gone. But it was like to another level of embarrassment, because United literally look like they've just been out in Pop World all night, and they've just got home like a few hours before the game. They was all over the place, United. Yes, they took a 2-0 lead, and we gave it to them. We literally gave it to them. Like, I honestly, I've just, you know, that's a new situation for me that I had to process today, and it's getting harder to listen to Dyche at all. I'm blaming him a lot now, and I'm blaming the players obviously a lot as well. I just don't understand personally. I wouldn't have put Beto on top, and I wouldn't have had McNeil play again, because he's just been inactive. Harrison, one of them dropped, or both, to be honest. And I would have had DCL down the middle, Dobbin on the wing. Just think Dobbin's a bit, no one has done their homework probably on him, because he doesn't play that much for us. He's quite direct. He's young, and you just don't know what he can give, because the other players aren't doing anything to credit themselves being in the first 11. And then, yeah, Dobbin on the left, I think, and DCL down the middle, and Beto on the wing, because Beto can play in the wing apparently. Because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing in a number 9 position, so put him on the wing, do something different, please. Give me something different, but no, don't. It's fine. Just keep playing these same players in the positions who don't seem to do anything and give us any sort of reward. Um, it annoys me other teams out there throw their youngsters on and they come out of nowhere and start performing and or play them and be consistent, and we just kind of mess around with our youngsters, Dobbin just in and out the team, not even really in the team much anymore. Come on today, like I said, didn't watch the second half, don't actually care what happened. The fair that we played better in the second half, who cares? Who actually cares about? Let's be honest, who cares? We didn't score and we missed chances again, and we had about 25 shots or something ridiculous like that. It's just boring. It's actually boring, and I don't know how they're not bored of repeating the same story every single game. So, yeah, the only good thing you could say out of this is we've got 3 weeks off of not being in an aggressive mood and fuming about everything in life. We actually can take a break from this shit show of what we're dealing with right now. And I don't know if it's a benefit, this 3 weeks off for the players. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We could have 3 weeks off and a team has had 5 days off, and then that team who's had 5 days off will beat us 4-0. That's just Everton Football Club all over. Like I said, the performance today were as bad as what my hair's looking at right now. And to be honest, like some of them players, I couldn't give a fuck. So yeah, that's my reaction. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.